It's time for Talkin Tauntauns, your Star Wars source at AIPTcomics.com.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Talkin Tauntauns. I am Jim Lahane, freshly back from Celebration, coming down off the Star Wars high, and with me to talk some interesting things that have come out, including a couple of episodes of some show about a old guy, Nicole Herview.
Hey.
And with us, we have a very, very special guest. You love him. We love him. It's JJ Travers.
I've returned.
The return of the JJ.
Yep. Return of the dad. Hey, guys.
Hey, man.
It's good to be back. It's good to be here. It's good to be talking Star Wars. I had to say goodbye to this podcast for a while, and the other podcast I did is permanently ending. I've had to say goodbye to my D&D campaign and many other things as we approach the birth of my son. I miss this a lot. I'm really excited I can be here to talk Star Wars today, because there's so much cool Star Wars stuff happening. And I missed you guys. I missed hanging out. I missed doing this every week. So it's very nice that I'm back to talk about all the news from Celebration and Obi-Wan.
Hell yeah, man.
Just so everybody knows, JJ we didn't kick him off.
Yeah, we didn't fire him or nothing.
The birth of his child is imminent. Anytime now, so he'll be here if he can be, and if he can't be, well, that's
won't
life.
be.
Well, see you later.
So, how are you doing, Nicole?
Oh, I'm good. You know, I'm hanging out. Long weekend. Lots of Star Wars nonsense. Like I was just telling the guys before we hit record, I've watched Sam Witwer yell Kenobi a lot this weekend. Like a lot. It was great for me. I hope it was great for everybody else. And lots of fun Celebration stuff. It's been Celebration and also watching My Chemical Romance do their thing over in the UK. They were in Glasgow last night or the night before. I don't remember what day it is anymore. And it's just like every day there's new My Chem content, which hasn't been a thing for over 10 years. So I can't keep up. And it's been phenomenal. So that's kind of where my life is right now. It's Star Wars and My Chem and nothing else.
Yep, I know the Star Wars.
That's fine. That's all we need to know. That's all you need to know. I listen. I wouldn't be a weird emo kid from New Jersey if I didn't care about My Chemical Romance. That would just be the most ridiculous thing in the world. So
Celebration was a lot of fun. I saw a bunch of panels. I saw the main panel on the first day with Connor, actually.
That's awesome.
We were able to sit together for that, and I hung out with him and his brother quite a bit that day, and then they allowed everybody who was in that main panel to come back for a premiere screening of the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, of which they then dropped it on Disney Plus 27 minutes after the episode ended.
They dropped it early.
I'm like, nuts. Well, we still got to watch it early. It was still cool.
So were you in the panel that you got to see Hayden and Ewan?
Yes.
In? Oh, yep. God. So when he said this is where
John
the fun
Williams.
begins, you were there?
Yep.
And John Williams.
We saw John
Williams.
We saw John Williams
legend.
conduct 3 songs. Harrison Ford came out.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he came out during right after John Williams conducted the Indiana Jones theme. Harrison Ford then came out.
Oh, because there's going to be a new Indiana Jones movie.
And he really announced the date.
They get him?
Yeah, right.
They announced the date of the next Indiana Jones movie, which is next year, end of June, I believe, off the top of my head.
I am super cautiously optimistic about it. I have immense hatred and rage for the last Indiana Jones thing.
You mean the aliens that just were, I guess, aliens, I guess?
But it works. Like, if you think about it, it was the 50s. That's like his time. He was supposed to be in the 50s. It was supposed to be, Get over it.
Not for everyone.
It happened. It didn't have to be
Get
for
over it. JJ hasn't been on the show for like 2 months, and Jim, in the first 5 minutes of the episode, says, "Get over it." Oh my God! Very good.
I am not over it. But we will move on.
Apparently.
Gentlemen.
My 2 panels went absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I saw and hung out with lots of people that we've had on the show. Lots of our guests that we've had on, I got to see and talk to and hang out with. So, and we'll be having new guests come on in the near future. I talked to a bunch of people, and we have people that are hopefully coming on just to kind of hang out and talk other Star Wars with us. I'm not going to name any names just in case it doesn't happen.
That's smart. That's wise.
Before we go full Star Wars mode, can I tell you guys about an announcement from this weekend that's not Star Wars, but is Disney, that I'm super excited for?
Yes,
is it Willow?
It is Willow. I can't wait for Willow. I love that movie. I love Warwick Davis. The trailer looks like just pure D&D, like injected into my veins. It looks so good. I can't wait. There's so many callbacks already. I glimpsed from the trailer. They have so many of the original cast from the film returning, and I always thought it was such a cool little universe that they never seem to play more in. So yeah, I can't wait for this.
Connor leaned over to me and goes, "I don't know what Willow is."
It's because he's so young.
He's a child. I haven't seen it, but I know what it is.
I have seen
watch
it. Well, I've seen three-quarters of it because it's not good.
Y'all don't fight, all right? Listen,
I just got back and he's already tested
Listen,
me.
I had to get in between Jim and JJ and just like...
It's not for everybody.
Push them apart.
I know a lot of people who really
Jesus.
do like it. I think you had to be the right age to see it. I was an
That's
adult when I
definitely
watched
fair.
it, and so if people who grew up with it have a totally different
Yeah.
mindset than people who are watching it as adults.
I have a feeling it's like... So I didn't get the hype around the Dark Crystal. Like,
I liked the
the
That's
show.
a perfect example.
I
That's a
loved
perfect
the
example.
show. As an adult, I loved the show. I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so interesting. And then I tried to watch the movie and I fell asleep. So I don't know what that's about. But I liked the show a lot. I really, really liked it. So I might try the same thing with Willow. Just see if I could just watch this and like see if I can
see
get
young
into
Val
it.
Kilmer.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll watch the new bit and then go back. I don't know. I'm gonna strategize. But I'll definitely watch this new situation. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be cool. I love Warwick Davis, so.
All right, we got lots of news.
Your tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker. Then I'll see you in hell.
Hello, what have we here?
Yeah, there's a lot of... I felt like when I was slowly taking this in through the various news feeds, there's a lot of like, oh yeah, okay, this is news, but like we all knew this was coming, and then there's like, oh, we didn't know this was coming. So like on the obvious end, The Mandalorian season 3 is coming in February next year. We all knew it was coming. Jon Favreau confirmed he's already writing season 4, which is great.
Yes, approved.
Yeah, I think the only thing we really didn't know about The Mandalorian, well, we don't know anything about The Mandalorian, but we knew it was coming. I think the only thing we didn't know was when it was coming. So that was nice to actually get a more specific time frame. We got a lot of release times ish on a lot of these announcements that had previously been announced.
Yeah. We got confirmation that we're getting live action Hera, Sabine, and Chopper, which was my favorite thing. Because, JJ, we haven't talked since I watched all of Rebels.
Oh, yeah.
And
You're a new and improved...
I'm a different person.
You're a different person now.
I'm a different human being.
So
and
I never
great.
have to again be like, Nicole, go watch Rebels.
No, I did it. I did it, and I'm thrilled.
Did you guys hear about how they basically announced that they're going to be in the show?
They brought Chopper out on stage.
So, yeah, but the other characters, so apparently, I hadn't seen it, but apparently, you know the picture at the end of Rebels with the painting that Sabine did with all the characters?
Yes, this I've seen. Mm-hmm.
They walk out of that picture.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that is
it's
so cool.
It's super sweet. And like I just saw the back of Hera Syndulla's head and I went, "Oh my god." Like that was kind of it. And yeah, some people are wondering if Mary Elizabeth Winstead might be Hera, which facial structure works. I don't know, but that's the maybe going around because we don't know who she's playing in Ahsoka yet.
You're right, we don't.
So maybe she's Hera, and I wouldn't be mad at that. I really wouldn't. Could be interesting. Might be a good casting there. I don't know, but I was really excited to see a physical Chopper like hanging out with Rosario Dawson. I was like, what the heck is going on here?
That was a Leo moment for me.
Yeah, it's like it's really cool.
There he is. There he is. That's
I
the
know
guy.
that guy. Really, really cool. That was
Yeah.
nice. I liked that.
That was
that's a
all
big
during.
bit.
I had one of my panels was actively during that panel, and I'm
Yeah.
like, ain't nobody gonna be coming to my panel because
Because that panel's happening.
Yeah, because that panel's happening.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had a full room, so
Nice.
so I was pleasantly surprised.
Good.
But we found out tons of information on Andor as well.
We got a trailer, kind of.
So
teaser.
big. So much. There's so
There's
much.
a lot.
So much material. So
much Mon Mothma.
it's going to be 24 episodes for the whole series.
It's insane.
And they're breaking up into 12 and 12. The first 12 episodes take place 5 years before Rogue One or A New Hope. They're basically the same, which is the same exact time that Rebels starts, too. So it's taking place concurrently with the beginning of Rebels. So that's your first 12 episodes. And then the next 12 episodes are going to take place from year 4 up until Rogue One. So you're going to have Alan Tudyk in it, I imagine, because he mysteriously was on the cast list and then dropped off the cast list. So I'm assuming he has to be in that, at least the second half of this.
I was gonna say maybe he's in the second half, and that's why like they were maybe like playing with it being 2 seasons or what, and that's why like he wasn't on the cast list because he wouldn't be in the first part, or like who knows what the hell is going on there. But
and it starts
he's gotta
soon.
Be in it.
It starts
Yeah.
soon. August 31st is the first 2 episodes.
I'm gonna watch that with my son. He's not gonna know what's going on.
God, JJ.
But I'm
what
gonna
a
be like, your
statement.
education starts here, kid. Let's go.
Wow, what a statement to make, my guy.
I can't wait. I can't wait
so
because
cool.
I'm not gonna be able to go anywhere. So this is perfect.
That's true. It's very true.
I'm just like, I've talked to you guys about this before, and I'm not gonna rehash it in depth. But I love so much about Rogue One because it paints the dark, grim picture of what a intergalactic civil war would really look like. And that's really, I haven't seen the new trailer. Just because there's been so much going on this weekend. Our editor-in-chief, Pat Ross, my best friend, got married this weekend.
Oh, right. How was that?
It was
Congratulations,
awesome. It was
Pat.
fantastic. I was his best man. It was great. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. But I had a busy weekend. I haven't been able to watch Andor, but I'm
That's
really
fair.
hoping that the tone of this show is like dark and gritty.
It seems it.
It's
It
supposed
really
to be like,
seems it.
from what I've heard, Cassian is not a good guy at the beginning of this series.
He should not be.
And he
He's
shouldn't
definitely
be.
like a selfish a-hole, and the series takes us through his progression to where we get him at Rogue One.
Sorry, Jim. Be an asshole, Cassian. Be an asshole.
Just be a dick. It looks cool. I mean, there's a lot in that trailer that I'm sure we could break it down similar to how we did with the Obi-Wan trailer. But there's a
Back on
lot.
the show for that.
There's a lot in here. I believe you. There's a lot in here that I don't understand what the heck is going on. So
That's the point.
yeah, right. I thought that was gonna like stop a little bit once I got through like Rebels and Clone Wars and had like all the context and stuff. And now I'm like, no, I don't know nothing. I know nothing.
Now you just realize that you don't know anything because they're not showing you anything,
Right,
as opposed to
right.
you not knowing anything because you're
Right.
missing the other clues.
Right. Like it's I was like, oh no, I have like a pretty full grasp of like timelines and character beats and this, that, and the other thing and who people are and how the Force works. And my favorite thing is like
That's not how the Force works.
that. And then just Ahsoka being like, the second you think you understand how the Force works, it shows you how wrong you are. Something to that effect. And that's like my favorite thing now, because that's like all of Star Wars. Like the second you think you understand Star Wars, you're proven horribly wrong.
All right.
This is what that was.
Speaking of Ahsoka, we're getting Ahsoka back not only in the Ahsoka show, but also in the what was never announced before, but everybody knew about it, the Tales of the Jedi show.
Looks
Looks
cool.
amazing.
Because
That I did see and
they
got really
dropped
excited about.
they dropped the name before they were supposed to on some sort of advertising merchandise, and nobody
Yeah.
talked about it. They just ignored it. They're like, all Lucasfilm's like, just ignore it. Maybe people won't notice. And then they put on a panel called Tales of the Jedi, but they never talked about it. And then until the actual panel comes up. I missed most of the panel. I caught the middle of the panel. And the middle of the panel is I actually got to watch a full episode of the show.
Wow! Holy heck!
And that
You
was
got to watch full episode?
Yep, I walked in
Which
as
one?
the episode started, and I walked out as the episode ended. It just happened to be perfect with the time that
There's
I had.
6 of
available.
them, and they're around 15 minutes, I've heard.
Yeah, that's
Kinda like
right.
Visions?
So the one that I saw was all about baby Ahsoka.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Very jealous.
Oh man,
The
that looks so cool.
The show is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of a mixture of the Clone Wars and Rebels. I'd say closer to Rebels in aesthetic, but it's like they took everything they learned from those shows and ramped it up even more. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm
love
really
that.
super excited for this show. I don't like the name choice because Tales of the Jedi is a Legends series of comics that take place 5,000 years before the movies. You're bringing that connotation into here, which is not what this show is about at all. And so people are going to go in, a lot of Legends fans, being misled of what it actually is.
It'll be fine. It'll work out.
I think the show will be fantastic. I just don't like
We got
the name
Liam
choice.
Neeson back, voicing Qui-Gon. We got
Bro, what? Like,
Count Dooku as a Jedi. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but Yaddle, who we know very little about in canon, is a Jedi Master that's the same mystery race as Yoda.
and Grogu.
And and a female member of that species. And there's a scene that I'm not going to spoil, but I'm just going to say you need to see it.
I never
Yeah,
actually
it's
saw the
cool.
trailer.
Oh, it's cool. You can see some bootleg versions of it because I don't think they uploaded it. But
No,
you can
they
find
didn't.
it.
I
It
saw
can be found.
people. I saw people trying to watch it, and it was being taken down as they were
Yeah.
trying to watch it.
Yes, I've seen it, like a phone screen recording of it. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Their animation, you kind of nailed it, Jim. The cross between Rebels and Clone Wars. I think we most recently saw that with the final season of Clone Wars and Bad Batch. Like they've struck this balance between what they used with Clone Wars and what they used with Rebels, and their new animation style that they've been using is just so pretty. And speaking of animated stuff, we're getting Bad Batch season 2, which the
Yep.
trailer for was so good.
It was good. Yeah, I wasn't losing my mind over it, but it was solid. I think if it didn't come out in the midst of all this other stuff, I would have been much more impressed with it. But it was just so overshadowed. It's a good trailer. I have no complaints.
It got me
I just-
excited.
I was like, okay, cool, and then I moved on.
I'm
know?
excited to see where Omega goes from here. I saw a clip of
Omega.
Omega. They played an extended clip also during the panel.
Nice.
Where in the trailer you see a bunch of crabs chasing them. It's that scene just
Okay.
extended. And Omega, she seems to be much more capable, much more able to. She's not the damsel in distress anymore. And so she grew up. She actually can fend for herself now that she has her little bow and arrow set. And so
Love that.
it seems like they're making her more part of the team. And so that
Yeah.
premieres fall of this year.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be good. I am excited for it. I just think it's, you get overwhelmed by all the other insane stuff we're getting. Ewan McGregor joked about a couple things that I don't know if they were jokes or not, but
He says comments and it's
he says stuff and you're like, are you serious? He was like, oh, I'm excited for you to see episode 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. I was like, stop joking about that. And also he said he was going to come back, quote, next year. And I was like,
that's Celebration. He's coming back to
yeah.
Celebration because Celebration
Yeah.
was announced as next year.
yeah, he wants to come back again next year. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be there. Where is it? When? Talk to me.
London.
Stop. Is it really?
Yep.
I'm not going to be there.
Easter weekend. It's Easter weekend, beginning of April in London.
How
They
quickly
announced
that
that at the
flipped.
closing ceremonies.
I will not be there. I was so excited. Like, maybe it'll be closer than California because that's, And then they're like,
I think
London.
that they're
No,
doing that
I
on
won't be
purpose.
there.
They're trying to get back into the international shows. They hadn't done an international
Son
show
of a
in quite a few years.
nutcracker.
Come to Boston.
I mean, I could, considering my job is based in London. I could go back, but I don't know. I'll be there in 2 months. I'll decide then.
All right.
But
And so
yeah. The only other bit of news that I wanted to chat about, are we good with Disney Plus stuff?
we got one more show.
I
Go
have
on,
one
then.
more as well.
Okay.
Go on, then.
The last show, I actually have you guys heard of David Collins? He does a lot of the audio for the series. I was talking to David. I was talking to him.
Cool.
And like this shows you how big of a Star Wars system that they got going on now. And we were talking about all the stuff coming out, and he's like, "Yeah, that show Skeleton Crew. I didn't even know that thing existed. This is
Yeah,
a
I
guy
didn't
who
know that.
works for Lucasfilm as one of the audio people. Like he makes the audio for the shows, and he
And
did not
didn't
know about this show.
Oh, I thought you were saying you didn't know. He
No,
didn't know.
He did not know, and like
That's nuts.
that's how much stuff's coming out. But we did get an
cool.
announcement for this show, Skeleton Crew. It's being helmed by. Hold on, I had it up. The guy who did the Spider-Man movies, John Watts. And
Okay.
it's an animated show starring Jude Law, and it's supposed to be kind of a bunch of kids get lost in the Star Wars universe and have to find their way home. It's a galactic version of a Amblin coming-of-age adventure from the 80s. It sounds a lot like Star Trek Voyager to me, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's super cool.
My last quick one that we don't need to talk much about because we won't know anything about it until it happens, and I don't want to know anything about it until it happens. Star Wars Visions Volume 2 is coming spring 2023.
Oh, cool. Nice.
I absolutely loved Star Wars Visions Volume 1. I would love like a separate universe for some of these tales that we got, so I can't wait for this.
Yeah, that'll
I
be
love
dope.
that this caught on and they're doing more with it. Mm-hmm. Jim, I think you just said something about like Star Wars Voyager and how there's so much stuff with Star Wars now. It's kind of like feeling like lately to me, in the scope, kind of like the MCU in a way, if that makes sense.
They're trying to hit a lot of different genres and
Yeah.
like age groups. Like clearly
Yes.
some of these are not going to be for us, and that's okay.
Yeah.
They are not for us. We have stuff that are for us, and like yes, they you're right. They're trying to scattershot a lot of these things.
Yeah. But yeah, non-Disney Plus, non-show news, the one thing that I actually got really excited about and then really angry about and then still kind of excited about is Disney Park news, actually, mostly for Galaxy's Edge West. That Boba Fett and Fennec Shand are walking around Batuu right now. And very soon they're going to get Grogu and the Mandalorian. And then I read that it's only Disneyland. And I was like, are you really trying to make me go to Disneyland? And they are. But yeah, I think that's super cool. I don't know what that means for the timeline of Batuu and what's happening
That's
there.
what I wondered.
They really, it feels like they're kind of throwing that out a little bit. They're like, never mind, almost.
Unless they're not actually in Galaxy's Edge and they're just kind of near, because I noticed
I've
they sell
seen them in the marketplace.
Oh,
like
'cause
I've
they
seen
sell
Fennec
those-
Shand and
Yeah.
Boba in the marketplace. And
because
I
they
was like,
sell those
cool.
like plastic lightsabers,
Yeah.
but they're strategically placed
Yes.
right outside Galaxy's Edge,
Yes.
like literally
Right.
like 1 foot outside Galaxy's Edge, but they're not in Galaxy's Edge.
No, I've seen footage of them like walking through, like, yes, they're like opening like the entrance area, but like right by the marketplace and like right by the blue milk stand and whatever. And I'm just like, cool. I love that. I can almost throw out the like timeline bit issue and not care. I'm this close to just being like, fine. I don't mind that this is weird in terms of like the timing, but I think that if you were really strict about that, you really limit what Galaxy's Edge can do and be. So I don't mind. Like, I really don't care. I just don't know why it's only in Disneyland. I'm starting to lose my mind with them getting like exclusive Life Day stuff and them getting Din Djarin. I'm like, stop. Can I please have it over here? Please, 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 please. And thank you. But hey, maybe one day. But I just thought that was really cool. And some really nice park news, which of course I'm a dork about. So
Yeah, we didn't get much park news from what I can tell.
that was, I think, the big thing.
Yeah.
I've got about 5 years before I'm going back, so if they can just hold off on cool stuff until right before then.
Buddy, yeah, maybe.
All right, we ready to talk some Kenobi?
One more thing.
God,
Just
listen.
one more.
Go on.
I was stoked about this. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the sequel to Fallen Order.
Yes, I saw the
yeah.
trailer.
Nice.
The trailer looks amazing. It's coming out next year sometime. They didn't really say when.
I'm gonna guess the end of the year, because that's Christmas season when you.
Yeah, and there's also that other Star Wars game they're working on that has a who knows when. There's not even a year for a release date. But yeah, man, the cinematic trailer for this is amazing. There's someone, we don't know who, in like this. It looks like he's finding someone in this kind of like cryo chamber-esque thing. In this abandoned place, and people are immediately going crazy with theory crafting that it's some like ancient Jedi or something. I don't know what's going on, but I loved the story. Like, the gameplay was very fun. It was very challenging. It was very different from other Star Wars games. It was an excellent single player game. Like, I platinumed it. I did everything. But the story and the characters were a big part of what made it so much fun and so good. Like, I remember when I think we reviewed it with Connor, maybe. But I remember talking about when we discussed it on the show how I would love like comics or books or a series about these characters because they're all so interesting. So yeah, super excited about this. Can't wait.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a big one.
Okay, now you ready?
Yeah, let's the show that we literally talked for an hour about a 2-minute trailer.
Well, hold on, one more thing. Just kidding. Let's go.
Kenobi.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Obi-Wan
Kenobi.
Ben Kenobi, where is he? Come on.
All right. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi, taking place.
My name is Ben. Thank you very much.
He's like, my name's Ben, darn it.
Taking place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And we actually get a recap of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus. Anybody who saw it live, we didn't get that recap.
I loved that. I loved it so much.
I was actually really surprised. I was like, I watched it again this morning to kind of get ready for this recording, and I'm like, none of this was shown to me.
It's cool. It's a good edit.
Yeah, and it was a good edit. And so you get a recap of everything that happened up until Anakin got barbecued. And and then we get a brief shot of a bunch of kids being trained. Who one of the kids, I'm almost positive, is Reva.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
100% with
absolutely
you
right.
on that.
Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense because
Why
otherwise,
else?
why did we see that?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, again, a show starts with Order 66, let's go! And and then I was like, wait, why?
I watched it with my
for
wife
what?
yesterday, and she's on her couch, I'm on my couch, and it opens to the Jedi's training the younglings, and I just go, uh-oh. And she's
It's
like,
always a
what?
bad sign.
And, because she's not the mega fan that I am, so she's like, what? I'm like, this isn't gonna be happy.
This ain't gonna go well.
Apparently, they put up a disclaimer given not so
everything.
good news in real life.
Yes, they did. They did that with Stranger Things as well.
Yes, they
I heard
did.
that too.
Very helpful.
Which I've watched, and if this was a Stranger Things podcast, I would talk about how much I loved it.
JJ, you and I can talk about it. I'm halfway through it.
Okay, cool.
But, yeah.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
So then we fast forward to Obi-Wan earning a living.
Just living his life. Doing well. Doing the best he can. Feeding his thing. Whatever that monster is that I don't forget the name of. Just cutting off
Trusty
meats.
steed.
His steed, yeah. Just,
Eope.
hanging out. Yeah, Eope. Thank you very much. I was like, how do I say that? Because I was watching subtitles. He buys a toy, and he's that we know that toy. I've seen that toy. The little starship that Luke is playing with in A New Hope.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool. We got Owen being a bitch, which is just a highlight of my day. What else? So much good stuff in that first, half hour of that show where, like, really not a lot's going on.
It's
Obi-Wan's
a
just living his
slow
truth.
show,
But great.
but it's good slow. It's not like,
Yeah,
oh my
I
god,
like
it feels like it's warranted to be
yeah.
like that, the pace that it's setting.
Did you see the thing? So when the Grand Inquisitor comes through, and it like bombards this bar, finding that other Jedi whose name I don't remember, and it doesn't matter because he's very dead. But yeah, when he comes through, and Grand Inquisitor's all like, the Jedi hunt themselves, and this, that, the other thing. There's a meme of that whole thing, and then the guy just goes, "Sir, this is a Wendy's," which is like my favorite meme. And that was pretty much the vibe of that scene, and Reva just like being nuts, and I love her. Yeah, there's just a lot. There's so much to talk about. I'm like, what do I pick?
So, I'll start off with the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah,
The design of the Grand Inquisitor, I got over it real quick.
Me too. It doesn't bother me.
No, that doesn't bother me.
His teeth sold
Rupert Friend does a fantastic job embodying the Grand Inquisitor. So he's
really good performance. Yeah,
and
the
so,
prosthetic teeth. That's where I was like, okay, I'm fine. No questions, Your Honor.
And apparently, he is super excited to be a part of Star Wars.
He seems it. I saw someone say, I have no idea where this came from. I just saw people saying that he was like refusing to watch Rebels. And I was like, even if that's the case, it makes sense because his character wouldn't know what happens in Rebels. Like, if that's why, I get it. Like, but people are being really crappy about it. But it seems like he's really excited. I told you I was talking to David Collins. I saw David Collins hosted the closing ceremonies where Rupert Friend came out and announced where the next celebration was. And David Collins was saying, he's like, Rupert Friend was just excited, like super excited to like come out on stage and say where the next one was coming. Like, he's like all in. That's awesome. You can tell, like, the commitment's there, and it's from everybody, like, across the board. We can't not talk about the backlash that Moses Ingram is getting.
I was going to bring that up. That
from like a very small amount of people.
If you are sending racist messages to Moses, and you're listening to this podcast,
get out.
You need to turn off this podcast, and you need to not be a fan of Star Wars anymore. You need
Go away.
It's kind of, if you're sending racist messages to anyone, you might want to re-examine your life choices.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I didn't hear about this because I've been avoiding the internet like the plague to ensure that
she shared some of the messages
spoilers.
she was getting. Like,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's...
And it's not only that. It's not only the outward aggression and racism. It's it's the like internalized racism that people have, or not internalized, but like they're not even unconscious. The unconscious bias that people are like, she's just angry. Like, why is she so pissed? Like, and why is she so aggressive? What is her deal? Da 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 da.
Watch the show and you'll find out.
Well, my favorite was someone was actually like, how on earth does she know to like steal Leia. Like, this is such a weird plan. I'm like, she literally tells you that she went through the files and found a connection between Bail Organa and Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what she did, you stupid idiot. Watch the show. There's no reading comprehension for some of these people. They're just showing how dumb they are. And it's really upsetting because she is doing such a good job of creating that intrigue of like, yeah, I want to know what the deal is. And I'm sure you're right. I'm sure she was one of the students that we saw, one of the younglings in that opening scene. I'm sure that's it. I'm sure that's part of it. And it creates resentment for the people who were supposed to be taking care of her. Like, I'm sure that's what it is, but I want to know and I want to see her story so bad. And she's doing such a good job of creating intrigue. And people are just about it. Excuse me, Jim.
I saw people, like, they were literally complaining. They're like, she's not a good actress and this and that. And I'm like, this was before I rewatched it. And I'm like, okay, let me pay attention. She's an amazing actress. She is absolutely amazing. Like,
I believe she's Emmy nominated.
She's
a phenomenal actor.
I went into my rewatch wondering what people were, like, why people were saving this. And I love her even more now. Yeah. Because of how good an actress she is. Like, she is phenomenal.
So good.
Yeah. I hate people.
People are
I'm kind of
atrocious.
glad I was avoiding the internet to avoid spoilers because I didn't watch this until yesterday. I'm not... It's sad to say that I'm not surprised to hear this, but I don't know what's wrong with... people for just kind of vaguely gestures at the state of the world today, but awesome performance, like super emotional, clearly very driven by something that's placed this character where they are today and gives them the just determination, courage, stubbornness, whatever you want to call it, to basically get in the Grand Inquisitor's face and be like, do something. Oh, and I'm going to do something, which we'll talk about when we get to episode 2.
Yes.
But yeah, I was immediately intrigued. I'm like, we know from watching Rebels and reading the comics and playing the video games that most of the Inquisitors were former Jedi. So for someone to be this driven to want to capture Obi-Wan Kenobi and to get the credit for it, like, I want to know why. Like, all of these people hate Jedi, and we know that, and we see them discuss it to varying degrees, but usually it's more just like they're pathetic and they're weak. This is how the Force should be used. But there's like a very personal vendetta here that I'm very excited to find out more about, and the character is slowly peeling back what's driving them, and like, I guess I'm very confused where the issue is. Most Darkseid users are angry, rage-filled, super difficult to deal with people. So why would you expect this person to be like happy-go-lucky and like calm and composed? Like, that's kind of how the dark side works for a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's interesting because she is composed most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, she's clearly like got an agenda and she's ambitious.
Well, she has to be composed because the Grand
she's
Inquisitor
composed.
is like,
Right.
it's like your boss is standing there. You kind of got to like fall in the line.
She's very like in control of her emotions 90% of the time, and like she lets it out, and you know she's not exactly Kylo Ren, like just beating the living hell out of things with her saber. Like, she's got it together most of the time, but she's also like human and has feelings and stuff.
She tried to cut that guy in the bar in half.
She really did. Listen, I think she's fascinating. I like you said, I'm not shocked that people are awful. I'm very pleased with, like, not very pleased. I shouldn't, like, blow it up. But I was pleased with the fact that the Star Wars social media team is, like, saying something.
Yes, I am
which was
glad
really cool.
Because
And they
this
were
is
like,
not something
"Get
they
outta
would
here."
normally do, too.
No,
so that
they were
tells
like,
you how
"Stop."
bad it got to be.
Well,
And also I'm just impressed with growth. Like, any growth is good. Like, the fact people are upset that, like, they didn't do this for Kelly Marie Tran and Daisy Ridley and John Boyega and even Ahmed Best and
Lessons learned.
Lessons learned. And you know what? Yes, I think that their social media
to shine
team
a light on this.
is moving forward, which is good. And I'm happy they said something instead of just saying nothing again. But it's just like, I'm not shocked, but like, it's still ridiculous. And similarly, the backlash that the small child playing Leia is getting.
What? I didn't even
Oh,
see
yeah,
that.
hello.
All right,
yeah.
let's just. I'm sorry, I have a
Yeah.
request. Can we forget the backlash people and just talk about the good things?
Yeah, but that's my segue into, people are
Bait and
actively
switch we got on this series.
oh, so good. I'm so pleased with it. And we had said, Jim, did we not say Bail Organa is going to show up? Maybe we'll see Leia. Like, we called it, but I was not prepared for it to be like the plot.
The Leia
I
show?
wasn't
No, not
prepared
at all.
for it to be that. This little girl is so good at being Leia. She's so good. The delivery of, you thank your droid, like, whatever, like, you don't need to, like, be respectful of a lower life form. She's like, I guess I don't need to respect, like,
You.
be polite to you then.
Oh, that was
I
so
was
good.
like,
And just
there
demolished.
she is.
She just took
There
her cousin
she is.
and just demolished who he is as a individual in like
Yes.
2 seconds,
She
calmly to
is-
his face. You could just see his facial expression slowly change as he's like, "Oh,
Yeah, she's so good. She's great with Ewan. She's so good with Ewan. But that's episode 2. We'll get there.
Well, I didn't know
But-
if we want to just
We could talk
the whole
about it
thing.
as a
I'd say
whole.
just talk
We
the
could
whole
just do
thing
that.
because I found
Great.
the
Love that.
show breakdown interesting. Is that they're not episodes; they're parts.
Right. I loved the way Ewan, and I don't know the young actress's name, so forgive me, but the way that they played off of each other was so good. And the moment I can't believe that there's an actual like conversation around this, but the moment when he like is saying you remind me of someone, and it's just very sweet, and it's obviously Padme. He's obviously talking about Padme. Some people genuinely think that he's talking about Satine in that moment, and I'm like, no, you stupid idiot.
No,
it's
that is
Padme.
incorrect.
It's clearly Padme. Like, Satine will come in later, I'm sure, based on the Clone Wars arcs that we were told to watch to prep for the show. So obviously Satine's going to come into it, but not yet. Like, that was so obviously Padme, because Obi-Wan and Padme did have a great relationship, and we see that a little bit, and it's just like this beautiful moment of, I never even thought about the fact that Leia and Obi-Wan probably would have met before, hence the, help me Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope thing. Like, it makes sense now even more that she would have reached out to him.
But if you look, he never says his last name to her.
Nope.
He only says, "My name is Ben," and that's what I
Right,
think
but yeah.
people like. She may not know she's looking for that same person.
I think she will by the end of this. I
Maybe.
really, really
We'll
do. But it just establishes, like, this is a person I can rely on. And also when oh, the hello? My brain short-circuited for a second. When Luke says to Leia, when he, like, gets her out of the cell, like, I'm here with Ben Kenobi, and she, like, knows what that means.
Okay,
like, she's
yeah.
like, you know what I mean? She goes, Ben Kenobi! Like, she gets all excited, because I think by the end of this, she's going to know exactly who she's dealing with.
Vivian Lyra Blair is the actress.
She's great. She's so good. This little 10-year-old girl is absolutely killing it. And I will say one thing. If you don't like this character, it just shows me that you only liked Leia because you thought she was hot. That's it. Because she is 100% the character Leia. This is who she is.
My favorite line. I had to subtitle it because I couldn't quite catch what she was saying the first 2 times I watched it. When Obi-Wan is telling her, he's like, we're gonna play this part, you're gonna be my daughter, and then she under her breath goes, I'll be your father. She's like, grandfather me.
Yes, so
And
good.
I didn't catch
So
it,
good.
and that's just the way she says it, and he's like, what? Nothing. And it was
So good.
I laughed hard.
I really do love this little, if you guys don't know this, I'm going to make your day. The young woman who goes up to Obi-Wan and sells him drugs and is like,
Yes.
I'm someone's daughter.
She looks
too.
familiar.
That's Ewan McGregor's daughter.
Oh, is it?
Yes, played by Ewan McGregor's daughter, which I think is so funny.
That's
that A, they gave her a cameo, which is great, like, good for her, and B, that's what she got to do with her dad Like, that's so
Give
cool.
him drugs. That's
Give
hilarious.
him drugs.
That's really cool.
It's like a really funny, like, once you know, it's like, this is even better. The scene is even better now. I just love the way Obi-Wan is going about every single thing he's doing in this show so far. I think I have no bad things to say about this show, guys, which is rare for me. But yeah.
I have one criticism.
Oh, Jesus,
Okay.
Murphy. Go on.
This is not a real criticism because it doesn't bother me at all, and it's not negatively impacting the show, and I burst out laughing the 2 times that I felt like, in my mind, I thought it was a bit ridiculous, but...
I have one thing. You're right. Go ahead.
When the kidnappers are chasing her, I'm like, these are the slowest adults, and this is the
yes.
fastest
Yes.
10-year-old
100%.
I've ever seen. And then when she's running from Obi-Wan and he's
It's the
chasing
same.
her,
I'm like, she runs from everyone in both episodes, and
yeah,
I'm like, man,
this
that girl's
legs
getting
are like,
exercise.
She's quick.
yeah.
The
So
Emperor's fitness test. She's gonna
not
pass.
an actual problem, but
Well,
I
one
was
of the
like,
guy,
man.
one of
That
the
is
bad
funny.
guys is Flea. So it's,
Yes, I loved that. I was like, is that freaking Flea? And then he's in the credits as Flea. I was like, oh, okay.
That's
is
it.
Flea.
He's always like
So
Back to the
good.
Future. He was in the credits as Flea.
Yes, as Flea. So funny. I like the Velociraptor bounty hunter. That's what I laughed out loud at. It's just a Velociraptor. He's a Velociraptor who's a bounty hunter on whatever that planet is. It's in the second part.
Dayu.
Like,
Dayu.
yes, on Dayu. Thank you. We know I'm not good with names of anything, guys. Like,
That's fine.
Calm down. But yeah, there is literally when, like, the bounty goes, like, is set on Obi-Wan, and they're all, like, getting the bounty, and they're all, like, you know, they have, like, a little montage of, like, all these bounty hunters, like, getting their life together, and one's just a Velociraptor.
I don't
was
think I
like,
caught that one.
bro, I'm gonna send you a picture of it. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, it was one of the guys on the rooftops. It was very noticeable and funny.
I laughed so hard.
So since we're also calling in the second episode now, I really liked. I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly, but Kumail Nanjiani.
Kumail Nanjiani, yeah, he's so
I
good.
loved
Oh my god.
The part he's like, yes, I'm Jedi, and like just it's like you're looking at him, you're like everybody knows you're not a Jedi, and it's just hilarious the way he plays it up. Like, yes, I'm Jedi.
He's such a good actor. I love Kumail so much. Where the hell is this? I'm sorry, I'm trying to send this to you.
If we can rewind a little bit.
Yep, go on.
The first, I thought they did such a good job of making you understand right off the bat how dangerous and just kind of horrible the Inquisitors were. With the scene in the bar, their Grand Inquisitor monologuing and talking about how they're able to find people and how fast rumors fly. And then Reva just tossing the knife at the guy's face. Just like, man, what a cool scene. And him stopping her from chopping the dude in half. Like, that whole start, I was like, all right, this is going to be great. They've nailed the look and the feel of the Inquisitors, and now that I've seen them in action, like, I'm really stoked about it.
Well, they also show that the Inquisitors don't seem all that bad, actually. It's Reva who is unhinged. And they're trying to keep her in line. Like, I think she threw the knife at the guy not under orders. Like, she did that all on her own.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was all her. That's for sure. But even so, I mean, it just seems like they're these, like, this looming presence, and, like, she's even worse. You know what I mean? Like, they did a good job with that.
Yeah, I liked that whole scene a lot. And it was also nice to see them address kind of the PTSD that Obi-Wan has experienced from losing Anakin and just, you know, everything else that happened to the galaxy when that Jedi finds him in the galaxy and he's like, what happened to you? And and he talks about that when Senator Organa comes to see me. He's like, I'm not the man that I was. That's not who I am anymore. And he almost doesn't catch Leia in time when she falls. We see how much he struggles to use the Force in what is, normally would be such a basic way to use it for any Jedi, let alone a Jedi Master of his skill and power and renown. So I really like that they're showing. Yes, thank you. Danny agrees. I don't know if you can hear my cat, but
yes.
she's talking. I just really like that it's not us seeing him just dusting off the cloak and being like, okay, everything's fine. Like I'm just as good as I was. I like that this is a broken person dealing with a lot of trauma, and we're seeing that the effects of that as he's trying to step into the shoes of someone that doesn't really exist anymore.
That's funny because that was your criticism about Luke.
Oh,
sorry?
That was your criticism about Luke in The Last Jedi. That a broken character.
Oh, no. I mean, my biggest issue with that, not to go into the whole thing, was I didn't agree with his choices before he became broken. Like, I didn't think that Luke would have ever done what happened with him and Kylo. That was my biggest issue there. Like, after the fact, I can see him leaving and being traumatized, but I just never really bought that he would do that to begin with.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, regardless, I think with Obi-Wan, I think it's really important that they're showing, like, character development and growth and being affected, and not just being like, he's Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's perfect, and he has plot armor forever and always. Like, he's a human being, And showing the flaws in Obi-Wan, that's some of my favorite character work for hello? Words are just not happening today, guys. I'm sorry. It's one of my favorite parts of that character is his flaws, despite the fact that he's like one of the most powerful people in the galaxy ever. Like, he's almost unbeatable, to the point where he has to allow someone to kill him, and that's how he dies. Like, showing his flaws and that he's not just like space Jesus is, I love playing with that and showing, him actually feeling his failure and actually feeling his loss. I was really, really pleased with the fact that we're addressing that and not just kind of skipping to the Ben Kenobi we see in A New Hope,
I liked that when he got caught, before he escaped with the drugs, when Flea caught him. It reminded me a lot of Revenge of the Sith. One of my favorite lines of the Revenge of the Sith is when he gets captured on the ship, and he goes, "Wait a second, we're smarter than this." And like when he gets caught by Flea, that immediately popped into my mind. It's like, wait a second, I'm smarter than this.
How did this happen? Yeah, I agree. I think I just love that it's so obvious to me that Ewan McGregor cares so much about this character, like so much, and it's really coming across in like how he's playing Obi-Wan. And I just feel like the man hasn't skipped a beat, like he hasn't missed a beat, like he just fell. I'm sure it took effort and work and all of that, but it feels like he stepped right back into this character, and it's just incredible to see, and I can't get enough of it. I really can't. He's just so lovely, and the moment when he finds out, I'm skipping, guys, I don't care. The moment he finds out when Anakin's alive,
you could see it.
That is earth shattering to him, like earth shaking to him, that Obi-Wan Kenobi did not kill Anakin Skywalker. He's like, A, I didn't do it. Like, he's not dead. And B, oh no, he's not dead. Like, that realization is intense.
It goes to show you how deep a hole he buried himself. Like, he knew the second she said Darth Vader, he knew Anakin was called Darth Vader.
Yes.
And he dug himself in such a deep hole that he never heard Darth Vader. And we had talked about this with Rebels. That
no one
Darth Vader
knows
was not
his
a
deal.
well-known character.
Yeah.
Well-known person at the time.
not until a few years before Yavin. Yeah, like nobody kind of knew who he was. And then I think like once Rebels is happening, that's kind of how people started talking about him and whatever. But yeah, it's such a good acting moment. It's so well written. It was so well edited. And that moment when we see Hayden Christensen as Vader in the Bacta tank, right? Holy crap, that was like, it was like we'd never seen him before in our lives. Like, that's how it kind of felt to me. It was like, it was so impactful. It was so well put together. The score was phenomenal. It's just, what a moment. What an absolute powerhouse moment.
So I do want to bring up, just before that scene of Vader,
yeah, something happened right before
the
there.
biggest uproar that I've seen online have to be the dumbest uproar, where everybody's going, they're ignoring rebels, they're throwing rebels
they're not
out.
ignoring rebels. They're
This is me over here
not.
going, you're dumb if you think they're throwing rebels out by they bringing in a character from Rebels. Several characters that premiered in Rebels. Exactly.
He's not dead.
Yeah.
He's not. He's
Grand
not
Inquisitor
dead.
is not
But-
dead.
Well, I'll tell you what. I wondered if it was a different Grand Inquisitor. I'm like, is there two of them? Like, all he has is a title, right? So anyone could step into that title. So my instinct was it's not the same guy. We've just been assuming it's the same guy because he's the same race and has the same title. But it's obviously more logical that he's just not dead.
Yeah.
But that was my first instinct was it's not the same guy.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
But
There's no way he's dead.
No, like they're not throwing it out. They're not like retconning Rebels somehow or like whatever the hell. Like, no, that's stupid.
Yeah,
this is just a very unexpected plot moment that I was like, oh, okay. How are we getting out of this one, guys? But
Keep in
I
mind,
trust them
Fennec
to get out of it.
Shand had her entire middles replaced.
Right, exactly. Like
People have come back from worse.
Do I have to point to my boyfriend Maul who got cut in half?
Yeah.
Like,
He's
like
not dead.
Exhibit A, he's not dead. No. If Star
Your main-
Wars wants someone to be not dead, they're not dead.
One of your main characters literally had all his limbs chopped off and was
All of them.
and it was barbecued.
Barbecued, flambé.
I love this moment. I thought it was great. I loved
I
her
thought it was cool.
being like, yeah, you're not taking this moment from me. I'm gonna stab you in the chest, and like, I don't
So
really
good.
care about the consequences. I think Vader will be stoked I did this, and he probably would respect it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He
If
likes
Anakin knew-
gumption.
Gumption's a good word for it. But yeah, I think if they went to Vader and they were like, well, he wasn't going to let me capture Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was right there, Anakin would have been like, say less. You should have done what you did. Like, good job. Now, like, he just wasted time, and he's probably the reason you didn't get him, which is true. It's just, I loved that moment. I have no problem with it. I think the problem is, and we don't need to harp on this, people are taking these episodes as like films in that like the plot needs to be like wrapped up and like fully, obvious to everybody within the first third of the show. We're a third in. If you watch like 20 to 45 minutes of a movie and say, this is stupid, nothing makes sense, and not everything's wrapped up, you're an idiot. Like, we're a third of the way through this story. There's, like, obviously stuff that we haven't seen yet. There's obviously work to be done. We're not done yet. The story's not done yet.
We have actors we know are in the movie or in the show that we haven't seen yet. Bonnie Pierce we haven't even seen yet. Who plays
she was
Beru.
credited, but
she's credited. We haven't seen her on screen yet.
Yeah,
like
she hasn't really. She might have been like outside, like in that moment where they're looking for Luke, and he's
I don't think she
around,
was even
but
there.
I didn't see her. Yeah. People just need to calm the hell down. I'll judge it fully as a plot and as a storyline and all of that when I've seen all of it. This is not really episodic television. like to be like really strict about the storytelling here. Like you said, these are not episodes, these are parts.
Yeah.
And there's a very different, like, not every episode is going to follow a full arc. This is not that kind of show, you know? This is one gigantic arc being told over 6 episodes or 6 parts. And we've only seen 2 of those parts. So everyone needs to calm the hell down, because what we have so far for kind of our rising action to like really English teacher you guys, like part of the, like that section of the arc that we've seen, right, is excellent. This is absolutely stunning work being done. You guys just need to like calm the hell down, because we're nowhere near climax and falling action yet. You don't know what's about to happen. Obviously, I'm not talking to you two gentlemen. It's just, everyone calm down. What we have is great. Chill.
It's similar to the way the Book of Boba Fett was structured, where each episode was not necessarily a self-contained story. They were kind of connected, but I feel like they're doing a better job here. Deborah Chow is like knocking this thing out of the park.
Yeah, I did want to say I thought it was really cool. I've seen, because they were doing a lot of press, obviously. It was cool that Ewan was saying, like, Deborah Chow knows, like, everything about the Clone Wars, and she's bringing that in. That got me excited. Oh. And then my mom told me, yes, my mother told me that Ewan was on, like, I think it was Ryan and Kelly, or Kelly and Ryan, one of those freaking morning shows, like the morning talk shows, and Ewan McGregor said he watched the Clone Wars. He watched all of the Clone Wars. And I was like, you what, mate? Like, that blew me away. I knew Hayden had. Like, I had seen that already, that Hayden had watched the Clone Wars. I didn't know Ewan did. And that blew me away. And I got very excited.
You made me remember. Spare some credits so a veteran can get a meal.
What a little cameo. I loved it.
I really liked that. I also really liked Tiva, the Jawa, who was telling Obi-Wan how bad he stank. And he was like, Tiva, if you're going to steal my parts and sell them back to me, can you at least clean them first? That was so good.
That was really good.
I laughed. That line right there, I laughed pretty hard, because Obi-Wan's like, oh, my word. Just really? I like literally just taking them and giving them right back to me. I like how they subtitled the Jawa.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Oh, I really loved that interaction as well. I thought that was really cool.
And
there was a lot of... go ahead, Jim.
We got Tamora Morrison. As one of the clones. Oh, I almost murdered the kid that was sitting behind me because he would constantly yell out random things. And at that point, he's like, that better not be Cody. Like, shut up.
Calm down.
Even if it is Cody, just shut up.
I had a adult angry movie moment at Last Jedi. I had to turn around in the theater and tell the kids behind me to be quiet in not a friendly way. They were just talking through the whole thing. But yeah, there were so many like little moments that I really enjoyed from this. I loved when Obi-Wan dug up his and Anakin's lightsabers. Like, that was such a powerful, well done moment. Like holding that lightsaber for the first time, and the way he looked at it, I was like, yes.
So, geology speaking, no.
Oh, Jesus, Murphy.
That's the sand dunes move. And if it's been 10 years, you're not going to be finding that directly in it.
Listen, Jim, you don't understand how the force works.
He used the force. He used the force to find his lightsaber.
No.
Obviously, the Kyber crystal would speak to him.
Yes. Yeah. And it wouldn't be a foot underneath the ground. It may be like 20 feet underneath the sand, because sand dunes move, and the sand dune would just move right on top of it.
He used the force to pull it up, and then he dug.
Yeah,
anyway, moving on.
So I hear you, Jim. I hear you. I do.
Geologist in me went, ah!
I hear you. But I guess that would have been the perfect hiding place then, wouldn't it have been? Like, if a sand dune moved over it, that would have been great. But guess what? That's just not how that worked. And it's just sitting there, I guess. Well, technically, then, couldn't a sand dune have moved over and then past it?
And it could have, but it could also have uncovered it, and nothing would have been buried.
That's why it was only a foot deep.
Yeah, there you go.
We could argue about this. We're not really arguing, but you know what I mean. We could talk about this all day. But the point is, the man got his saber back, and Anakin's saber, and that listen, Anakin's poor saber cannot not be in the sands of Tatooine. It's always going to end up there. It's like the circle of life. It's just always
It doesn't turn
in the
on anymore. It's got
sands.
sand in it.
Yeah,
It gets
he's like,
everywhere.
Son of a nutcracker, man. Like, it's just stuck. Really good moment, though. I really did like that.
Something else I wanted to call out that it didn't surprise me. I guess I didn't give the character enough credit to think they would play a role that really stood out to me. But I'm forgetting his name in this moment, and I'm sure Jim will know it. But I thought the actor who played Owen Lars did
Joel
phenomenal.
Egerton.
Thank you. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I thought he nailed that, like,
Angry, grizzled.
yeah, just like he wasn't trying to hurt Obi-Wan. He was trying to protect Luke, but the way he delivered, like, train him like you did Anakin.
Yeah, like you did his father.
Yeah, like Anakin's dead, and like him just standing there with Reva being like, "I'm gonna kill this guy if somebody doesn't tell me where, you know, a Jedi is," and him just being like, "Okay," like didn't beg for his life, didn't give up Obi-Wan. He just stood there and was like, "All right, I guess I'm gonna let her kill me because like my choices are I betray that guy over there, or I betray Luke, and I'm not gonna do either." I loved the way he handled that. I loved the way he dealt with Obi-Wan, because it's like, this, you know, the kid's 10. He's clearly come to love him like his own son, and he also lost, you know, his brother that he barely knew, to, in his eyes, Obi-Wan, and it's just, you know, again, he's not being cruel. He's just being like, I'm gonna do what I need to do to protect Luke, and that means that you will not be a part of his life, and you will stay away from him, despite how good your intentions may be. And I just thought the character, I thought the actor did a really good job with the character, and I liked it a lot.
I agree.
You also got to look at it this way. Reva's asking where Jedi are. If he knew where Jedi was, there's the sentence. If he knew where any Jedi were, why?
Right. It would have if he gave up Obi-Wan, it would have somehow possibly, and that possibility we can't even entertain. It possibly could have led to Luke.
Yeah, it would have back over. Why do you know where a Jedi is? That's really weird. Nobody knows any
also,
Jedi.
why is he here?
You do? Like,
yeah, and why is he here?
Good point.
Why is Kenobi here? Of all places, why is he here? And it just would have led down a road that could have put Luke in jeopardy. I think that's the only reason he didn't give up Obi-Wan.
Well, that's what he said. He said it wasn't for you.
Yeah, if Luke wasn't a factor somehow, he would have given up Obi-Wan in a heartbeat. He hates that man, and it's obvious. So yeah, I thought that the work in that scene was really good. It was just so good. He's really selling Owen, and everyone's doing a great job. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's all I have for right now. Like, I'm really enjoying the show. Like I said before, I'm going in hesitant. I don't want to be overly excited. I don't want to assume what we're gonna see, because that's how you get disappointed, is with assumptions. And so, like, so far, I'm really enjoying where we're going with this. I loved the bait and switch that it's Leia. The whole story is so far it's about Leia, and I
love that.
I absolutely love it. It makes so much sense, and I like where we're going.
It's also, I think it's worth mentioning, stunning. Like, it's cinematically beautiful. Like, the show is gorgeous, and I just love the way it's shot and directed and everything going on. It's just beautiful. Like, I'm just really pleased with it so far, and I hope I am this excited about it by the end. But I was cautiously optimistic. Now I'm just optimistic. Like, I've seen enough to be like, okay, if they land this, if they stick the ending, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be so good.
You have any last thoughts, JJ?
Yeah, I guess just that I think Deborah Chow is doing a phenomenal job. I think Ewan McGregor is doing a phenomenal job. I love the direction they're taking this in. I love all of the supporting actors. Reva, the Grand Inquisitor, Sixth Brother, Owen Lars, young Leia, Senator Organa, like everyone that I've seen presented to me so far. I'm really enjoying their performances. I'm really enjoying the story. The production value is high, no surprise there. I'm just thrilled to be able to enjoy this. This is one of those stories that didn't need to be told necessarily, but I'm really glad they decided to tell it, because it's just been so enjoyable to watch so far. And, the confrontation looms on the horizon, and so far I have no doubts that it's going to deliver on the mammoth expectations that are awaiting it with the fan base. So, really excited. And I guess my last closing words would be that, this could be my last episode for a really long time. So if it is, just want to say thanks to everyone who's been listening to this show while we've been doing it. It's been a long time. I've loved doing it. I don't know if or when I'll be back, but huge thank you to Jim and Nicole for being amazing friends and co-hosts and carrying the show on without me. I've been listening. They've done a phenomenal job. They certainly don't need me, and I'm glad to listen to the show as a fan. But I do hope that I can come back for some episodes here and there over the next few months. But if not, it was a blast, and thanks to everybody who listened while I was here.
Now, your seat is always open whenever you want to come sit in it.
Absolutely.
Unless somebody else is sitting in it, and then you'll
No,
have to take a ticket.
We'll just add a chair. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah, then it won't be your seat. You'll have to sit on the stool.
Right.
So just to add on to what you were saying, this was a story that didn't need to be told. I'm hoping, and it seems like they're going in this direction, that it's a story that didn't need to be told, but it's becoming a story that needed to be told, which is the best type of story. It's a story you didn't know you needed.
Yeah. The piece of the puzzle we didn't know we were missing.
Yes.
And just fits so beautifully. Like that's what it's shaping up to be.
Yep.
Let's hope it
keeps going in that
it.
direction.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I think we'll close us out. It was so nice having you back, JJ. Hopefully we can have you back again at some point. Maybe next week, maybe the week after. We really don't know. That's the wonders of biology.
That's up to a child.
You know what? I'd love to make happen if
child.
possible is to come back and do an episode with you two and Connor, maybe for the Obi-Wan finale or something like that.
That'd be great.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think that would be fun too. All right. So with that, we'll wrap it up for today. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us, talkintauntauns@aiptcomics.com. You can find us on Twitter @talkintauntauns. Join our Patreon. Come interact with us on our Discord channel. You can get information on that through aiptcomics.com. And with that, leave us a 5-star review if you would feel like doing that. The reviews really, really help, and I actually really like reading them because they make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Unless they're bad reviews, and then it doesn't make me warm.
Then we don't want them.
Then it doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But if you enjoy the show, I'd love a review. If you don't enjoy the show, why are you listening? And with that, we'll see you again next week.